8 men are going to federal prison for stealing Army equipment from a military base.
Some local college musicians will be spending more time in Europe this month than originally planned. And high school students are spending part of their summer break getting an up-close look at police work.
A beautiful summer weekend coming up across East Alabama. We will have the complete forecast details coming up.
Coming up in sports, the Alabama Sports Writers Association has released the All-State softball team. We have the full recap as EAN Local News starts now.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by Oxford Lumber. Come visit any of our locations in Oxford, Jacksonville, Talladega, and Roanoke.
Hello, we're glad you could join us. I'm Mike Stedham.
And I'm Katie Edwards.
8 men have been sentenced to federal prison for conspiring to steal government property from the Anniston Army Depot. That's according to U.S. Attorney Prim Escalona of Birmingham, whose office prosecuted these cases. She says one suspect was found guilty by a federal jury and the other 7 pleaded guilty. All of them have now been ordered to repay the government for those thefts. A federal investigation into the case revealed that police officers from the Directorate of Emergency Services and other civilian AAD employees stole millions of dollars of military property from the warehouses at the depot over a period of several years and then delivered it to middlemen. Those middlemen then delivered the stolen property to the owner of a military surplus store in Sylacauga, and the conspirators split the money that they made from those sales. Escalona said that the stolen items included equipment that was designed to be attached to military weapon systems to provide operators with nighttime vision capability. The people involved in the conspiracy have been identified as Steve Bonner, 63, of Goodwater, a middleman who was found guilty of conspiracy to steal U.S. property following a 4-day trial. The court sentenced him to 30 months in prison and ordered him to pay restitution of $1,873,200. Jerry Baker, 63, of Hoax Bluff, a captain with the Directorate of Emergency Services, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to steal government property. The court sentenced him to 25 months in prison and ordered him to pay restitution of $3,750,000. Kelvin Battle, 54, of Anniston, a sergeant with the Directorate of Emergency Services, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to steal federal property. The court sentenced him to 21 months in prison and ordered him to pay restitution of $2,414,582. Eric Matria, 54, of Munford, a guard with the Directorate of Emergency Services, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to steal government property. The court sentenced him to 16 months in prison and ordered him to pay restitution of $3 million. Shane Farthing, 42, of Gadsden, a guard with the Directorate of Emergency Services, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to steal United States property. The court sentenced him to 15 months in prison, ordered him to pay restitution of $707,000. Christopher Price, 55, of Childersburg, he's the owner of the military surplus store in Sylacauga. He pleaded guilty to conspiracy to steal government property. The court sentenced him to 14 months in prison, ordered him to pay restitution of $3,940,940. James Kenneth Scott, 73, of Sylacauga, a middleman, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to steal federal property. The court sentenced him to 12 months in prison and ordered him to pay restitution of $3.5 million. And Scott Bunch, 54, of Alexandria, a Defense Logistics Agency supervisor, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to steal government property. The court sentenced him to 12 months in prison, ordered him to pay restitution of $3,750,000. Escalona said the investigation into this theft ring involves several agencies, including the Department of Defense's Office of Inspector General, the Defense Criminal Investigation Services Southeast Field Office, and the Department of the Army's Criminal Investigation Division. Assistant U.S. Attorneys George Martin and Ryan Rummage prosecuted these cases.
When we come back, local teenagers are getting a lesson in law enforcement this summer.
For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by WM Grocery, located in Heflin, Wadowee, Roanoke, and in Piedmont.
Thursday was the first day of the Anniston Police Department's 8-week Summer Youth Explorer and Service Program. The department began its YES program last year to connect with local students who are interested in a career in law enforcement and give them resources to help them move forward. The first day was spent on logistics such as ordering uniforms, having an orientation class, touring the Anniston Police facility, and issuing the teens their own department ID cards. Next week, the YES students will be taken to the Center for Best Practices in Law Enforcement, the JSU Center for Applied Forensics, and the Northeast Alabama Law Enforcement Academy. Anniston police officers say parents of the students enrolled in the program are already contacting them with positive feedback from the first session.
While taking part in this week's D-Day ceremonies in France, 9 horn players from the Marching Southerners from Jacksonville State University have been invited to extend their European tour so they can take part in a trumpet festival later this month. The players, along with Professor of Trumpet Dr. Christopher Probst, have been invited to participate in the Trumpet Fest at the Orvieto Musica Festival in Italy on June 16th through the 23rd. They'll start off in Venice and then travel to Florence, Naples, Pompeii, Rome, and Milan before they fly home on the 24th. Meanwhile, the full Marching Southerners band will finish its portion of the European tour Saturday by taking part in a parade in the French village of Saint-Marie-Église, which was one of the first places retaken from German forces following the D-Day invasion 80 years ago this week.
When we return, free meals are being offered by some area school systems all summer long.
Spring into freshness at WM. Celebrate the season with our bountiful selection of farm fresh produce. From juicy berries to crisp greens, taste the flavors of spring at WM. Visit us today and let the freshness bloom in every bite. This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by Waldrop Manufacturing, metal buildings made right here in Calhoun County.
Several area schools will be offering free breakfast and lunch to local students this summer. Anniston City Schools will provide the meals through June 30th at 2 locations, Anniston High School and Golden Springs Elementary School. Breakfast is being served from 7 to 8 each weekday morning, and lunch is offered from 10:30 to noon.
Meanwhile, 7 elementary schools in the Calhoun County system will also be cooking up breakfast and lunch for area children. The kitchens at Alexandria, Ohatchee, Pleasant Valley, Sachs, Weaver, Welborn, and White Plains elementary schools will all be serving the meals on weekdays throughout the rest of the summer months.
You know, Mike, it was hot today, but it seemed like the humidity was not as bad.
I think so. And so let's say a little bit more than warm, but not quite hot yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know about you, maybe we get another day like this tomorrow.
And a great day for hanging around the pool tomorrow, wouldn't it be?
What a great idea. John Holder joins us now in the EAN Weather Center to tell us if we can get a repeat of today's weather tomorrow. John?
Well, Mike and Katie, if you want a repeat of today, we've got it coming your way. A gorgeous Saturday coming up following a fantastic Friday. A beautiful summer weekend coming up for all of East Alabama. We will have the details next.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
High temperatures today across East Alabama, about where they have been for the last several days. The difference was lower humidity and dew point values made this 87-degree high today feel a lot better than the 86 and 87-degree temperatures we've had over the last several days. 69 for the low this morning. Record high temperature 100 degrees. Again, back at 1985. The record low at 50. Sun rising tomorrow on your Saturday at 5:33 and the sun setting tonight at 7:52. Weather on your street on a Friday night, it's going to be fantastic. A touch of fall in the air later on tonight. If you're out on Marsville Road in the Wellborn community out in western Calhoun County, get ready for some upper 50s by early tomorrow morning. 58 for the average low tonight. Clear skies, low humidity and dew point values. It is going to be very nice tonight all across East Alabama. And coming up tomorrow, more of the same. We'll be warmer tomorrow by a couple of degrees, 89 for the high, but again, a totally dry day, maximum sunshine, sunny, very warm. Gold Ridge Road over in Rambert and Cleburne County. A beautiful Saturday for whatever you want to do. It's going to be warm out there. We expect that in June in Alabama. But again, another day of low humidity and dew point values. Now that's going to change next week. We're going to go back to our typical summertime weather pattern, which means we have sunshine most of the day, afternoon storms popping up in the afternoon. Stockdale Road down in Talladega County and Waldo going to be a typical classic summertime week coming up next week with highs in the 80s every day. Here's the 7-day forecast for all of East Alabama. No rain at all in the forecast for tomorrow and Sunday. Sunday promises to be the hottest day we have had so far in 2024. Look at that, 93 for the high after a morning low of 65. Chance of rain back in the forecast on Monday, a 40% chance of rain. And really next week, every afternoon, about a 30 or 40% chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm with the heating of the day. We say that a lot in Alabama in the summertime, and that will be the forecast pretty much all of next week. Mid to upper 80s, 85 to 88 for the highs. Nighttime lows in the mid 60s every day. There'll be a chance that you might see a pop-up thunderstorm in your neighborhood back toward the 90s in about a week here across East Alabama. Let's take a look at those low temperatures for tonight. We do not see this very often on June the 7th in Alabama. Yeah, we got some 60s down to the south central Alabama. But look at these 50s all the way from northwest Alabama to us here in northeast Alabama. Again, the average low tonight, as we said, about 58 degrees, maybe 57, 56 up north, maybe 59 or 60 down south. But most folks, I think, are going to drop below that 60-degree mark at some point early tomorrow morning. It will feel a little bit like football season, believe it or not, coming up overnight tonight and early tomorrow morning. Speaking of tomorrow morning, I will be back here bright and early at 6 a.m. for your Saturday morning forecast as we'll take a look at the complete Saturday forecast for all of East Alabama. And of course, we will be back with you all throughout the weekend, back on Sunday morning and Monday morning. We'll be right back here with your breakfast forecast, and I'll be right back here Monday evening for EAN Local News as we take a look at the forecast for the week ahead for all of East Alabama. Well, we've got some honors going out to local softball players across East Alabama. Namath Pitts has the details right now in sports. Namath.
Thanks, John. The Alabama Sports Writers Association released the All-State softball teams yesterday. Let's take a look at what East Alabama players made All-State. Let's start in Class 6A. We had one 6A player make All-State. She made softball 6A All-State second team, and that is pitcher Berkeley Mooney from Oxford. Mooney was a senior for the Yellow Jackets. She is headed to play college softball at Montevallo, but she comes in as a second team All-State player. She was the only 6A player moving to 5A. Making first team All-State in 5A at catcher is Charlie Paris. Charlie Paris was a big-time player for the Alexandria Valley Cubs, had a home run at regionals. She was a part of a team that made it to the Final Four. They were actually in Final Three, technically, one game away from the state championship game. Charlie Paris comes in first team at catcher. Also joining her, her teammate Alyssa Hunt, third baseman. She comes in as an infielder, all first team in 5A. Alyssa Hunt, right there you see her, was a big-time playmaker, big power bat for the Valley Cubs. Also making All-State first team in Class 5A as a pitcher, as I believe is utility technically, but Presley Slayton. She pitched for the Valley Cubs, also big-time bat for the Valley Cubs. Presley Slayton was not only first team All-State, but she was also the most valuable player when it comes to her bat. so she was a big-time pitcher for the Valley Cubs. She also was the hitter MVP for Class 5A, Presley Slayton of the Alexandria Valley Cubs. Moving to Class 4A, making 4A first-team All-State was Callie Richardson of the White Plains Wildcats. Callie Richardson had a big season for the Wildcats, big-time player. She was also joined by her teammate, who also made Class 4A All-State first team, Leighton Arnold. Leighton Arnold pitched for the Wildcats, had a lot of home runs at regionals. Big-time player Callie Richardson and Leighton Arnold from White Plains are first team All-State 4A. Moving to Class 3A. From Glencoe, making first team All-State, Abby Bunt. Abby Bunt is headed to play college softball at the University of Chattanooga, Tennessee. She's going to be a big-time player, but Abby Bunt, first team All-State for Glencoe. Also from Glencoe, making second team, Case Willett. You see her right there. That's 2 home runs in 1 game. She had that this season as Case Willett makes second team All-State in Class 3A for the Glencoe Yellow Jackets. Also making All-State in 3A second team, Savannah Smith from the Piedmont Bulldogs. Big-time pitcher for Rachel Smith's team, big-time bat. She's headed to Jacksonville State University to play college softball. Joining her, only juniors will be back next year, Casey Brothers, big-time batter for the Piedmont Bulldogs this season. And Casey Brothers not only made All-State second team, she was joined by her sister, Kayla Brothers. You see Kayla Brothers right there. She also made All-State second team. So Casey and Kayla Brothers, both returning for the Piedmont Bulldogs, they make All-State second team. Also making All-State second team from right here in Calhoun County in Class 3A, Kinley Fulmer of the Weaver Bearcats. Got the opportunity to play for her dad this season, her senior year. She placed in wrestling, comes in All-State for softball. So she was All-State in 2 different sports this year. Kinley Fulmer makes Class 3A All-State second team for the Weaver Bearcats. Moving to Class 2A. Madison Cromer for the Pleasant Valley Raiders. She comes in at first team All-State. So Madison Cromer makes first team All-State for Coach Bryant's team, a team that made the state tournament. They actually won their opening game before falling in the next 2. But you see Madison Cromer right there. She made first team All-State. She was joined by one of her teammates, Lily Henry, who came in at second team All-State. Big time volleyball player, volleyball state champion. She comes in on Class 2A's All-State softball team on the second team, Lily Henry. Moving to Class 1A, first team All-State, Avery Stewart. Big time pitcher, big time hitter, big time player. Avery Stewart was one of the biggest reasons for the success that Spring Garden had this season in softball. She gets recognized as first team All-State. Joined by 2 teammates who made second team. The first teammate to make second team was Helena Ingram. You see her right here fielding a ground ball in the infield. She comes in on the Class 1A All-State second team as an infielder, Helena Ingram. And then the final Spring Garden Panther to make All-State, making Class 1A All-State second team, was Maggie Jarrett. You see Maggie Jarrett right here about to put the barrel on the ball. She comes in Class 1A's second team All-State, Maggie Jarrett from Spring Garden. That's it for EAN Local Sports. Let's go back over to Mike and Katie.
Thanks for that update, Namath, and thank you for watching us today.
You can find us every weeknight on Facebook, YouTube, and on a variety of sites, including our website, the Calhoun Journal, and Newsbreak. Just go to the platform of your choice and you can watch our news, sports, and weather coverage whenever it's convenient for you.
We hope you have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back here Monday for your news on your schedule.